The year was 2485, and humanity had stretched its reach far beyond the familiar planets of the solar system. Colonies sparkled like distant jewels across star systems, each one a testament to human curiosity, courage, and determination. On Erebus Prime, a world at the edge of the known galaxy, the sky burned a strange shade of violet, streaked with glimmers of unseen suns. Jagged mountains of black stone rose from frozen plains, and winds howled across endless stretches of ice, carrying whispers of the void. For most people, Erebus Prime was inhospitable, a place only the bravest or the most stubborn dared to explore. But for Commander Alina Reyes and her team, it was a frontier, a challenge calling them forward. She stood on a high ridge overlooking the frozen plains, the cold biting through the thick protective suit. Her breath formed clouds in the thin, frigid air, and her eyes scanned the horizon. "Another probe lost," she muttered, reading the latest report from the monitoring station. The Colony Council had debated this expedition endlessly. Sensors had detected strange energy fluctuations near a distant star system, just past Erebus Prime's orbit. Probes sent to investigate vanished without explanation. Some council members urged caution, arguing that retreat was wiser, but Alina and her team had always believed that curiosity was the heart of humanity. To retreat now was to abandon the very spirit that had carried humans from Earth to the stars. "Commander, are you sure we should proceed?" asked Dr. Cale Novak, the team's linguist and historian. His voice carried a mixture of excitement and concern. Cale was lean with sharp features, and his dark eyes always seemed to search for meaning in patterns others overlooked. Alina didn't answer immediately. She turned to face him, her gaze steady. "If we don't go, someone else will," she said finally. "And if we do go, we might find something no one has ever seen. That's why humans explore. That's why we survive." Kyle nodded slowly, though worry lingered in his eyes. "I just hope we're ready for what we might find." The expedition team consisted of 12 members, each selected for their expertise and resilience. There was Lieutenant Marco Chen, the engineer who could repair almost anything under extreme conditions, Dr. Leora Vasquez, a biologist fascinated by alien ecosystems, and Sergeant Reena Patel, whose tactical skills kept the team safe from both natural and technological hazards. Together they were a blend of courage and intellect, ready to face the unknown. As the team prepared their shuttle for the journey beyond Erebus Prime, the violet sky darkened with approaching storms. The wind whipped across the icy plains, and Alina felt a shiver that had nothing to do with the cold. Erebus Prime had a way of reminding humans how small they were, how fragile their technology and bodies could be against the universe's vastness. The shuttle lifted off with a low hum, its engines carving through the storm like a knife. Inside, the crew checked systems and monitors, each screen displaying data streams of strange energy readings. The closer they approached the anomaly, the more unpredictable the signals became. Probes that had vanished before were now being replaced by human eyes, human hands, human minds. The stakes were high. As they neared the edge of the energy field, the shuttle's lights flickered. Alina tightened her grip on the controls. "Hold steady," she instructed. "We don't know what's out there, but we're going to find out." The shuttle passed through the energy field, and for a moment the crew was bathed in a strange glow. It was neither cold nor warm, neither bright nor dark, but it filled the cabin with an odd sense of presence. The sensors went wild, readings spiking in ways no one could immediately understand. "What is it?" Leora whispered, her voice trembling with awe. She had seen many strange worlds, but nothing like this. "I don't know," Alina admitted, "but it's real, and we're the first humans to see it." Beyond the glow, a vast structure emerged from the ice. At first, it looked like a mountain, black and jagged against the violet sky. But as the shuttle drew closer, the team realized it was unlike any natural formation. Straight edges, geometric shapes, and intricate patterns covered the surface. It was enormous, so large that its top disappeared into the low clouds above. Kyle leaned forward, eyes wide. "It's artificial," he breathed. "Someone, or something, built this." The shuttle landed carefully on a nearby plateau. Outside, the wind roared, but the team moved with precision, each member following protocol. They approached the structure, their boots crunching over ice and stone. Alina felt a thrill of anticipation. Humanity had built colonies across the stars, but the feeling of being the first to witness something entirely alien was unparalleled. The walls of the structure were cold and smooth, black as obsidian. Strange symbols were etched into the surface, glowing faintly as the team came closer. Kale's eyes lit up with recognition. "These are warnings," he said slowly, "or instructions. I can't tell yet, but they're meant for someone or something to understand." "Warnings?" Marco asked, tightening his grip on the portable scanner. "About what?" "That we'll find out," Alina replied, though she felt a knot of unease. "Stay alert. Everything here is new. Everything here could be dangerous." Inside, the structure was even more astonishing. Hallways stretched endlessly, filled with sharp angles and strange light that seemed to come from the walls themselves. The air was cold but breathable, and a faint hum vibrated through the floor. The team moved carefully, their footsteps echoing in the vast chambers. Kale touched one of the glowing symbols. "They respond to our presence," he said. "It's almost like they're alive or aware of us." Suddenly, the floor beneath them vibrated, and a low rumble echoed through the halls. Leora stumbled but caught herself. "It's reacting," she shouted. "Something is happening because we're here." Alina held up a hand to calm the team. "Everyone stay focused. Observe, record, but don't panic. Humans have faced danger before. We adapt, we survive, and we push forward no matter what." As they moved deeper, strange shapes appeared in the shadows, vast forms that seemed almost alive. The team's scanners detected nothing, but the air felt heavy, charged with anticipation. Every sense was alert, every heartbeat pounding in rhythm with the structure itself. Hours passed as they explored. Rooms filled with machinery beyond comprehension, strange symbols floating in the air, and what looked like storage chambers holding items no human had ever seen. The further they went, the more Alina realized that this place was ancient, older than any human or colony. It was a relic of an intelligence far beyond their understanding. At the end of a long corridor, they found a massive doorway sealed by energy fields. The symbols glowed brighter, pulsating with a rhythm that seemed almost like breathing. Kale studied them closely. "It's a warning," he repeated, voice tense. "Keep pushing, and we might awaken something we cannot control." Alina's heart raced. She had led humanity into unknown worlds before, but this was different. The sense of history, power, and danger here was overwhelming. And yet, the core of human spirit, the drive to explore, to understand, to survive, urged her forward. She looked at her team. "We are the first humans to stand here," she said. "We face what no one else has faced. This is why we explore, why we endure. Humanity doesn't retreat from the unknown. We push forward. That is our nature." The team nodded, a mixture of fear and determination on their faces. Whatever lay beyond the energy field was a mystery. Whatever the symbols warned of was unclear. But one thing was certain: humans were here, and they would face the challenge together. As the sun, or what passed for a sun in EpicSciFiTales' alien sky, set, casting long shadows across the icy plains, the team prepared for the next step. Beyond the doorway was the heart of the structure, a place that could hold wonders, dangers, or both. Humanity had arrived at the edge of the void, and there was no turning back. For Alina Reyes and her team, the journey had only just begun, and the universe, silent and watchful, waited to see what humans would do next. The structure loomed before the expedition team like a monument to something both magnificent and terrifying. Inside, the corridors twisted and expanded beyond expectation. The walls pulsed faintly, casting strange shadows that shifted as if alive. Every step the team took seemed to echo through the vast emptiness, a reminder of just how small humans were against the ancient intelligence that built this place. Commander Alina Reyes led the way, her eyes sharp, her senses alert. She had faced dangers before: violent storms on colonized planets, malfunctioning AI systems, and even hostile wildlife, but nothing compared to this. EpicSciFiTales' alien structure defied everything she knew. It was immense, complex, and strangely aware of their presence. Dr. Kale Novak walked beside her, notebook in hand, scanning the glowing symbols etched into the walls. Each symbol seemed to carry meaning far beyond human comprehension, but Kale was determined to decipher it. "These are warnings," he murmured again. "Or perhaps instructions left by whoever or whatever built this. They seem to respond to our presence. Every time we move, they light up in patterns, almost like a language." Alina nodded, her hand resting on the strap of her utility belt. "We must remain cautious," she said. "We don't know what these symbols mean, but we can't ignore them either. Humans survive by understanding, and we will do that here as well. The team moved further into the structure, discovering large chambers filled with machines that defied explanation. Some emitted soft hums while others seemed dormant as if asleep. Leora Vasquez, the biologist, examined strange crystalline formations growing from the walls. "It's almost like the building itself is alive," she said. "Everything here interacts with its environment, and not in ways we understand." Marco Chen, the engineer, knelt beside a massive device resembling a console. Lights flickered across its surface as his fingers brushed over the panels. "It's advanced far beyond anything humans have built," he said, awe in his voice. "But it's functional. If we can figure it out, we might learn something incredible." Hours passed as the team explored room after room. Some areas were flooded with soft, glowing light, while others remained dark, hiding shapes that seemed to move just out of sight. Alina noticed subtle vibrations in the floor and walls. The structure was not silent. It was alive in a way that humans had never encountered before. Then Kale made a discovery that sent a ripple of excitement through the group. In one chamber, the symbols formed patterns that resembled constellations, star maps, and sequences of numbers. "These are not just warnings," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "They are records. This place was built to communicate knowledge, history, maybe even intelligence itself." Alina frowned, sensing the gravity of their find. "If that's true, then we must proceed carefully. We could be dealing with a repository of knowledge or a trap." As they moved deeper, the energy around them grew stronger. Their instruments fluctuated wildly, readings spiking in ways that made no sense. Alina instructed the team to record everything meticulously. "Humans survive because we observe, adapt, and act," she reminded them. "That's what makes us special. Our ability to learn in the face of the unknown." The team entered a massive chamber that seemed to be the heart of the structure. Its ceiling disappeared into darkness, and enormous pillars stretched up like fingers grasping at the sky. In the center lay a platform, etched with glowing symbols that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Kyle stepped forward cautiously. This is communication," he whispered. "It's trying to tell us something. A message from the builders of this place." Leora examined the platform, touching its surface lightly. Her fingers tingled as the energy reacted to her touch. "It's alive," she said. "Not in a biological sense, but it responds to our presence. Our actions matter here." Alina's mind raced. Every discovery so far had emphasized one truth. Humans were intruding on something far older and more powerful than themselves. Yet she also felt the undeniable spark of human determination. They were not just explorers, they were problem solvers, adapters, survivors, and that spirit had carried humanity across the stars. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shivered and a low hum filled the chamber. Lights on the walls flickered in complex sequences, forming patterns Kyle hurriedly tried to decode. "It's a warning," he said finally. "A very strong one. Keep moving and you could awaken forces beyond understanding." Alina's jaw tightened. "We are aware," she said firmly. "But humans do not shy away from challenges. We proceed with caution, but we do not retreat. That is who we are." The team pressed on, entering a corridor that seemed narrower but infinitely longer. Shapes in the darkness shifted, almost as if the structure was observing them. Leora paused, studying a wall panel. "There's a pattern here," she said. "It's subtle, but it looks like a map, a guide of some sort. Whoever built this wanted their knowledge preserved but hidden carefully." Marco scanned the panel with his instruments. "It's functional," he said. "A series of mechanisms that respond to environmental input. The builders anticipated explorers like us, or perhaps threats. Everything here is designed to test or teach." Kale's eyes widened as he pieced together the symbols. "I think this structure was meant to communicate across species," he said. "It contains knowledge of civilizations, technology, even ethics. But it's dangerous. If we misstep..." He trailed off, the implication clear. Alina placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We will not misstep. Humans are cautious and we learn quickly. That's our strength. And our strength is what will allow us to survive here." Hours turned into what felt like days as the team moved deeper into the alien heart. The corridors twisted, widened, and contracted unpredictably. Strange shapes flickered at the edges of perception, sometimes disappearing when observed directly. The structure's responses were subtle but undeniable. A living presence, observing, testing, and perhaps judging. In one chamber, They discovered a massive holographic map projecting stars, planets, and energy fields. Some areas glowed faintly as if marked by events long past. Kale studied it in awe. "This is a record of civilizations," he whispered. "Not just one, but many. And something wiped them out." Alina's eyes narrowed. "Then it is a warning. Not just to us, but to anyone who comes here. The builders faced threats and survived or failed, and we are being given a chance to learn from them." The team continued cautiously, documenting every chamber, every symbol, and every reaction. The structure seemed to guide them, its energy pulsing in response to their movements. Alina felt the familiar sense of awe that always accompanied human exploration. The thrill of confronting the unknown, of standing where no one had stood before, and of proving that humans could adapt to challenges no one else could. At the far end of the central chamber, they found a sealed doorway, larger than any they had seen before. The energy around it was intense, causing instruments to spike and shields to flicker. The symbols around the doorway pulsed rapidly, forming sequences that Kale struggled to translate. "It says, 'Just keep pushing, but beware,'" he said finally. "It warns of dangers beyond this point, but it also promises knowledge if we are careful." Alina studied the doorway, her mind racing. Every instinct told her that humans were about to confront something extraordinary. And every instinct also reminded her that curiosity was a double-edged sword. But humans had survived because they never gave up, because they faced impossible odds with courage and intelligence. She turned to her team. "This is it," she said. "Whatever lies beyond this door, we face it together. Humanity has always pushed forward. We adapt, we survive, and we will not fail now." The team gathered around, each member ready, each heart pounding. Beyond the doorway lay the heart of the structure, a place that could hold wonders, knowledge, or dangers beyond imagination. And in that moment, humans truly showed what made them special: the courage to face the unknown, the determination to learn, and the unyielding spirit that refused to back down. As Alina placed her hand on the control panel to unlock the doorway, the structure pulsed brighter than ever, as if aware that humans were taking the next step. The energy hummed through the walls, floors, and ceiling, and for a moment the team felt an overwhelming presence. Something ancient, something intelligent, something waiting to reveal itself or judge them. Alina took a deep breath. "Here we go," she said softly. And with that, the doorway began to open, revealing a darkness that stretched farther than the eye could see. Within it, the team could feel the echoes of a lost intelligence, the pulse of a civilization long gone, and the first hint of the challenges that awaited them. Humans had reached the edge of the unknown once again, and they would keep pushing. The doorway opened slowly, revealing a darkness that seemed almost alive. The expedition team hesitated at the threshold, their breaths forming clouds in the cold, thin air. The walls beyond glimmered faintly with energy, casting shadows that shifted and moved as if the structure itself was aware of their presence. Commander Alina Reyes stepped forward, her heart pounding but her mind steady. "Stay alert," she whispered to the team. "We don't know what's waiting for us, but we face it together. Humanity has always survived because we adapt, learn, and persevere." Dr. Kale Novak moved beside her, his notebook clutched tightly. "The symbols earlier, they warned us," he said quietly, "but now I think we're seeing what they meant. Something is dormant here, something very old." The chamber was enormous, stretching farther than the eye could see. Strange crystalline structures rose from the floor like jagged mountains, reflecting the faint glow of energy running through the walls. The floor vibrated subtly beneath their feet as if the chamber itself had a heartbeat. Leora Vasquez, the biologist, touched one of the crystals with a gloved hand. Her fingers tingled as faint energy pulses ran up her arm. "It's not alive in the normal sense," she said, "but it reacts to us. Almost like it's aware of our presence," Alina nodded. "Then we must proceed with caution. Observe, record, and respect what we find. That is how humans survive in the unknown." At the far end of the chamber, enormous pods lay embedded in the crystalline floor. They were encased in thick, transparent material, but inside were forms so massive and intricate that the team could hardly comprehend them. Tentacle-like appendages, shining exoskeletons, and shapes that defied human anatomy filled the pods. Some forms appeared mechanical, others organic, and a few seemed to blur the line between the two. Kale's eyes widened.
These are the beings the symbols warned about," he whispered.
"Dormant but alive. immense intelligence far beyond anything humans have encountered. Marco Chen approached a nearby console, scanning the energy readings. Their life signs are faint but present, he reported. They're waiting. Dormant, yes, but not inactive. If we're not careful, we could trigger something irreversible. Alina's gaze swept across the pods. We need to know what we're dealing with, she said. Humanity survives because we face challenges head-on. We learn, we adapt, we endure. That is our nature. But we must do it carefully. The team moved closer, documenting everything, taking readings and recording observations. Every crystalline pod seemed to react to their presence, pulsing with energy in a subtle rhythm. The structure itself seemed alive, watching them, testing them. Suddenly, the floor beneath them shuddered violently. Lights in the chamber flared, and a low, resonant hum filled the air. The energy from the pods surged, and the massive forms inside stirred slightly. Step back, Alina shouted, holding her team together. Everyone, maintain distance but keep observing. Humans survive because we are careful yet bold. One of the pods emitted a sound that resonated through the floor, a deep, harmonic vibration that felt almost like a voice. Kale stepped forward, recording the frequencies. It's communicating, he said, awe in his voice. Or at least responding. They're aware of us. Leora's eyes sparkled with both fear and fascination. They're testing us, she said. Not attacking, yet, but they are aware of our presence and intent. The team realized that these beings were not mere monsters. They were sentient, powerful, and ancient. Their purpose might have been defensive, protective, or even instructional. Alina understood that humanity had stumbled upon an intelligence that had shaped the cosmos in ways they could barely imagine. Marco Chen's scanner spiked suddenly. Energy levels are rising. The pods are responding to our instruments, he shouted. We might be triggering a full activation. Alina made a quick decision. Everyone stay calm. Humans survive because we think under pressure. Keep recording, but maintain caution. We are explorers, not aggressors. The pulsing energy intensified, and the pods began to shimmer with an inner light. One of the massive forms moved deliberately, its appendages flexing inside the crystalline casing. The team gasped, witnessing the first signs of life after millennia of dormancy. Kale whispered, The symbols. They weren't just warnings. They were instructions on how to approach these beings. We may have followed some instinctively, but we must respect their intelligence. They are not mindless monsters. They are judges, observers, perhaps even guardians. Alina's gaze swept across her team. Then we must act as humanity always does, bravely, wisely, and together. That is what makes us strong. That is what makes us human. The largest pod began to crack slowly, methodically. Light spilled from the fissures, casting long shadows across the chamber. The energy pulse resonated in the team's chests, a physical vibration that made their hearts race. Leora stepped back, shielding her eyes. It's enormous, she whispered. Far larger than anything we imagined, and yet, it's not hostile, at least not yet. Alina raised a hand to signal calm. Observe, don't provoke. Humans survive because we are clever, cautious, and united. Our actions now will define how this encounter unfolds. The being inside the pod flexed its appendages, testing the limits of its crystalline prison. Energy arcs danced along its form, illuminating the chamber in dazzling patterns. The team felt the raw power of an intelligence older than most civilizations. Kyle scribbled notes furiously. They are aware of intent. Every movement we make, every action is being registered. These beings are assessing us. Alina turned to Marco. Keep monitoring energy levels. We need to understand what triggers them, what calms them, and what provokes them. Humans survive because we learn quickly. That is our strength. Hours passed as the team observed, documenting every reaction. Slowly, the pods continued to shift, their energy stabilizing, responding to the team's careful movements. One by one, the beings stirred, revealing glimpses of their vast forms. Some were mechanical organic hybrids. Others were crystalline and translucent. Each seemed to embody intelligence, strength, and adaptability. Leora spoke softly. They are not monsters. They are something more. Guardians, observers, teachers, or perhaps a warning to any species that reaches too far without wisdom. Alina nodded. Whatever they are, we are here. Humans survive by confronting the unknown, by understanding it, and by respecting it. That is what we must do now. The largest pod finally opened fully, and a colossal form rose from the crystalline casing. Its body shimmered with light and energy, a combination of organic and mechanical structures. The air vibrated with its presence, and for a moment, the team felt the weight of history pressing down on them. Kyle whispered, "It's magnificent and terrifying, but it doesn't attack. It observes, it learns, it judges." Alina felt a mixture of awe and determination. Humanity had always faced overwhelming odds, from the first explorers of space to the colonizers of distant worlds. Their strength lay not in brute force alone, but in ingenuity, courage, and the ability to work together. She turned to her team. "This is what makes us human," she said. "We face the impossible, we endure, and we adapt. These beings may test us, but we will show them what humanity is capable of." As the colossal entity extended its appendages and moved deliberately among the team, it emitted a soft hum that resonated like thought. The team felt no immediate threat, only the awareness that they were being studied, evaluated, and perhaps judged. Alina took a deep breath. Observe, learn, respect. That is how humans survive. That is how we thrive. The beings awakened after millennia responded subtly to the humans' caution, intelligence, and courage. Their movement was precise but non-aggressive, their energy pulses aligning with the team's careful steps. Humanity had entered a new chapter, one where survival depended not on weapons or technology alone, but on understanding, adaptation, and the essence of human spirit. The expedition team spent the next several hours documenting, observing, and communicating as best they could with the ancient intelligence. Every action was deliberate, every observation recorded. And slowly the team began to sense a pattern, a way to interact without provoking danger, a way to earn the silent being's acknowledgement. As the chamber settled into a rhythm of energy pulses and quiet observation, Alina realized something profound. Humanity had awoken the silent ones, the guardians of knowledge and power, and had survived the first encounter because of what made humans unique: courage, intelligence, and an unwavering will to understand the universe, and yet, the structure and its beings held secrets far deeper than they could imagine. The real challenge, the true test of humanity's resilience and spirit, was only beginning. Alina whispered to herself, almost in awe, "Humans always keep pushing, and now we must prove that we are worthy." The colossal beings moved with deliberate grace, their forms shifting between energy and substance. Their massive appendages brushed the walls without contact, and the chamber hummed with power as they observed the humans. Commander Alina Reyes felt the weight of the moment pressing against her chest, but she kept her composure. Humans survived and thrived not by fear but by courage, intelligence, and unity. "This is beyond anything we've ever encountered," whispered Dr. Cale Novak, his eyes wide as he recorded the readings. "They're testing us, learning about us." Alina nodded. "Humans always adapt, Cale. That is our strength. We observe, we analyze, we survive, and we do it together." The team moved cautiously, careful not to provoke the silent ones. Every gesture, every step, every touch of the crystalline walls seemed to matter. The being's energy pulses reacted subtly to human presence, faster and brighter when the humans acted recklessly, calming when they approached carefully. It was a test, and the team realized the universe itself had set the rules. Leora Vasquez studied a glowing panel embedded in the floor. "It's measuring responses," she said. "Not physical strength. Emotional, intellectual, ethical. Every decision we make is being monitored." Alina's mind raced. This wasn't a test of weapons or technology. It was a test of humanity itself. The silent ones were looking at them not as intruders, but as representatives of their species, evaluating whether humans were ready to face greater challenges in the galaxy. "Then we show them who we are," Alina said firmly. "We survive because we care, because we think, and because we face danger without losing our humanity." The first true test came suddenly. A narrow passageway opened ahead, but sensors indicated an unstable energy field within. The team realized that crossing it would be dangerous. Any misstep could trigger an energy surge capable of severe injury or worse. Cale hesitated. "It's a test. If we fail..." Alina placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "We succeed because we act wisely, Cale. Observe, communicate, and support each other. That is how humans succeed." Together, they moved carefully across the passageway. Marco Chen led, using portable instruments to stabilize the energy field. Every step was deliberate, every movement calculated. The being's energy pulses mirrored the tension and focus of the team, flickering with approval as the humans succeeded in crossing unharmed. "That's it," Alina said quietly. "Humans succeed because we plan, we adapt, we persevere." Beyond the passageway, a new chamber unfolded. A vast hall filled with floating platforms and holographic projections of stars, planets, and alien civilizations. The projections shifted as if alive, depicting the rise and fall of countless species across the galaxy. Kyle stared in awe. "It's a record of life in the universe. The Silent Ones preserved this knowledge, perhaps as a warning or a lesson." Leora pointed to a section of the projection showing a world consumed by energy storms. "These civilizations failed," she said. "They weren't prepared. Or perhaps they didn't act wisely. That could be what the Silent Ones want to teach us." Alina's jaw tightened. "Then we learn. Humanity survives because we understand consequences. We learn from mistakes. We do not repeat them blindly." As the team explored the chamber, the Silent Ones moved closer, their massive forms pulsing with energy. They didn't attack. They observed. Every reaction of the humans influenced the being's behavior, subtly changing the flow of energy in the room. It became clear the humans' courage, intelligence, and moral decisions were being evaluated. Suddenly, one of the platforms lit up with a holographic simulation, a scenario where a crew member was trapped under falling debris. Sensors indicated the humans had only seconds to act. Without hesitation, Alina gave orders. "Leora, Marco, rescue him. Kale, guide us through the sequence." The team moved with precision. Lifting the debris required careful calculation and teamwork, but they succeeded. The holographic scenario dissolved, replaced by a brighter energy pulse from the Silent Ones. The beings had responded to human cooperation and courage. Kale gasped. "It's approving us. They respond to not just bravery, but teamwork and ethics. They see the humanity in our actions." Alina allowed herself a small smile. "That's how we survive. Not alone, not with strength alone, but together, with intelligence and courage." The next test was more subtle. A series of holographic obstacles appeared, riddles, mathematical patterns, and symbolic sequences designed to challenge logic and perception. Kale eagerly stepped forward, decoding the sequences and guiding the team through each challenge. Mistakes were minor, but each misstep caused the Silent One's energy to ripple, a gentle reminder that they were being watched closely. "This is incredible," Kyle said, his voice full of awe. "They're not just testing our strength, they're testing our intellect, our patience, and our ability to work together under pressure." Alina nodded. "And we succeed because that is human nature. We don't give up even when the odds are impossible. That is what makes us special." Hours passed in tense focus. Each challenge, each obstacle, each interaction with the Silent Ones was a lesson. The humans realized that these beings were not monsters to fight, but mirrors to reflect their strengths and weaknesses. Every choice mattered. Every decision revealed something about their species. At the center of the hall, the largest being paused, its form radiating a calm, powerful energy. It extended an appendage toward the humans, but rather than a threat, it offered a projection, a simulation of Erebus Prime in flames, with the colony at risk from natural disasters. The Silent One's message was clear. Survival required wisdom, compassion, and the foresight to protect life. Alina understood immediately. "They're teaching us to care," she said. "Not just for ourselves, but for others. That is why humans thrive. We protect, we plan, we endure together." Leora studied the simulation closely. "We can save them," she said. "We just need to understand the sequence and act correctly." The team worked together, using every skill, every piece of knowledge they had. They corrected the simulations, stabilized the holographic environment, and successfully preserved the colony from destruction. The Silent One's energy pulses shifted, brighter and calmer as if acknowledging the human success. Alina breathed a sigh of relief. "Humanity survives because we are brave, intelligent, and united. We learn, we adapt, and we endure. That is what makes us strong," Kyle added softly. "They are teaching us not by force but by example. They mirror our potential, showing us what we can achieve if we act with wisdom and courage." The Silent Ones retreated slightly, their forms shimmering with light. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, perhaps even respect. The humans had passed the first true tests, not by fighting, not by destroying, but by understanding, cooperating, and acting with integrity. Alina addressed her team. "Remember this moment. Humanity has survived not by strength alone, but by the qualities that define us: courage, intelligence, compassion, and the will to face the unknown together. That is our gift, our power, our essence. As the team prepared to leave the chamber, they realized the Silent Ones had not returned to dormancy. Instead, they watched, ever vigilant, ever aware, a presence that would guide or challenge humanity in ways still unknown. The lessons of the chamber were clear. The universe was vast, full of both wonders and dangers, and only those who acted with wisdom, courage, and unity could endure. Alina took a deep breath. Humanity has been tested and we have survived. But this is only the beginning. The Silent Ones have shown us what lies ahead, and it is up to us to rise to the challenge. As the team moved back toward the main corridors, the chamber behind them pulsed once more, a reminder that the beings were always aware, always learning, and always judging. Humanity had proven itself in the first series of trials, but the universe held deeper challenges yet to come. In the distance, the crystalline structure glimmered under Erebus Prime's violet sky, a silent testament to the lessons learned and the challenges yet to face. And the humans, brave and determined, prepared to take the next steps, knowing that survival required not just strength, but the very qualities that made them uniquely human. Alina whispered to herself, her gaze fixed on the path ahead. We are humanity. We face the unknown, we endure, and we rise above. No matter what awaits, we will survive, because that is who we are. The chamber was quiet now, filled only with the soft hum of energy radiating from the colossal beings. Commander Alina Reyes stood at the center, surrounded by her team. Every member was exhausted but alert, their eyes reflecting awe and determination. Humanity had passed the first trials, demonstrating courage, intelligence, and compassion. Yet the Silent One's presence reminded them that this was not the end. They are still observing, whispered Dr. Cale Novak, his notebook filled with pages of notes, sketches, and symbols. We've learned much, but I think they are waiting for more. Something deeper, Alina nodded. They want to see the essence of humanity, not just cleverness or courage, but who we truly are when the stakes are highest. A soft pulse echoed through the chamber, and the beings' forms shifted, becoming brighter and more defined. The energy that had seemed distant now felt tangible, like an invisible current brushing against every team member. It was a presence that demanded understanding, respect, and action. Leora Vasquez, ever curious, approached one of the crystalline walls. They're showing us scenarios, she said, her voice filled with both wonder and concern. Simulations of worlds, civilizations, even entire star systems. Choices we make here affect outcomes in these scenarios. Alina's eyes narrowed. Then this is the ultimate test. We are being judged not only by what we can do, but by what we choose to do, and how we treat life itself. The first simulation appeared before them, showing a small human colony under attack by a rapidly spreading energy storm. Structures collapsed and the holographic population seemed helpless. The team quickly realized that their previous successes, courage, teamwork, and careful observation would not be enough. They needed to act with wisdom, foresight, and compassion. Think carefully, Alina instructed. Humanity survives because we solve problems creatively and responsibly. We protect life, not just our own, but others as well. That is our strength. Leora analyzed the simulation and spoke quickly. If we redirect the energy flows from the planetary grid and reinforce structural shields in sequence, we can stabilize the colony. But it requires precise timing and teamwork. Marco Chan adjusted his instruments and nodded. We can do it. We've handled worse. Alien technology, environmental hazards, and unknown energies. This is no different. We survive because we try, we adapt, and we act together. The team worked in perfect harmony, each member following orders and adjusting in real time. Cale guided them through patterns and sequences the Silent Ones projected, translating their energy pulses into actionable steps. Alina coordinated the effort, ensuring every decision was deliberate. Slowly, the simulation responded. The storm's energy began to divert. Buildings stabilized and the holographic population survived. The chamber pulsed with brighter light, a wave of energy that seemed to acknowledge humanity's success. Cale whispered, "They recognize our choices. Not just skill, but morality, intelligence, and care. They see what makes us human. Alina allowed herself a small smile. Humanity survives because we think, we feel, we act together, and we never give up. That is our true strength. The next simulation appeared, this time more complex. It involved a planet where two civilizations, alien species unknown to humans, were in conflict. One side risked annihilation unless the humans mediated using only logic, ethics, and communication. There were no weapons to use, no force to apply, only understanding and negotiation. Kyle studied the scenario. We need to find a solution that minimizes harm and ensures fairness. This is a test of diplomacy and intelligence, not power. Alina nodded. Humans have survived wars, disputes, and challenges through negotiation, understanding, and compromise. That is what we will show now. The team worked methodically, proposing strategies, analyzing outcomes, and adjusting their approach. They considered every variable, every consequence, and every moral implication. Slowly, the simulation shifted. Conflict was resolved peacefully, the civilization survived, and the Silent One's energy pulsed brighter, almost like a heartbeat in approval. "It's amazing," Lyra said softly. "They aren't just testing us physically, they're testing our intellect, our morality, our ability to act wisely under pressure." Alina's gaze swept across her team. "And we've passed because we are humans. We think, we care, we adapt, and we survive. That is the essence of our species." The final test was unlike any other, the largest being extended an appendage, projecting a scenario that encompassed the entire galaxy, a chaotic landscape of energy storms, collapsing worlds, and civilizations on the brink. It was overwhelming, almost impossible to comprehend fully. Kale stepped forward, voice trembling. This is beyond any simulation we've faced. It's a test of judgment, foresight, and unity. How do we approach something so vast?" Alina took a deep breath. "We approach it as humans always do. We observe, we analyze, we act with care, and we work together. That is how we survive. That is how we thrive." The team divided tasks. Marco monitored energy flows, adjusting patterns to stabilize dangerous regions. Leora analyzed biological and environmental impacts, ensuring civilizations were preserved. Kale translated the Silent One's energy patterns into actionable steps. And Alina coordinated the effort, making strategic decisions, guiding the team, and ensuring no action was taken without careful thought. Hours passed. The chamber's energy pulsed with intensity, the massive beings observing every move. The humans worked tirelessly, driven not by fear but by determination, ingenuity, and the instinct to protect life. Slowly, the galaxy and the projection stabilized. Planets were preserved, energy storms redirected, and civilizations endured. The Silent One's energy surged, brighter than ever, filling the chamber with a warmth that felt almost like acknowledgement. Alina felt the enormity of the moment. The ancient beings had judged humanity, and humans had passed not through force or power, but through intelligence, compassion, and cooperation. Kale whispered, awe in his voice. "They've acknowledged us, humanity has been recognized for what we truly are." Alina allowed herself a smile, a rare moment of relief. "We survive because we are brave, clever, and united. We endure because we care, we think, and we act wisely. That is humanity's true face." The colossal beings slowly retreated to the edges of the chamber, their energy pulses calming. No longer a test, but a presence of respect. The projections of the galaxy faded, leaving only the soft glow of the crystalline chamber. The humans stood together, exhausted but triumphant, having faced the ultimate challenge and proven themselves worthy in the eyes of an intelligence far beyond their own. Leora exhaled slowly. "We've survived every trial, not through strength alone, but through the qualities that define us: courage, intelligence, compassion, and unity." Alina placed a hand on her utility belt, feeling the weight of responsibility and pride. "This is what makes humans exceptional. We push forward even when the unknown threatens to overwhelm us. We act wisely together and we endure. That is who we are." Kale nodded, closing his notebook. "They've left us with a choice. We can explore further into the galaxy or retreat to learn and prepare for the next steps. Either way, we have their acknowledgement." Alina looked toward the entrance of the chamber where the violet sky of Erebus Prime was visible. "We leave with knowledge, respect, and proof of our resilience. Humans will continue to explore, to adapt, and to thrive. We have been tested and we have proven ourselves." As the team stepped back toward the main corridors, the Silent Ones watched, their presence still palpable but no longer a threat. Humanity had awakened their own potential and earned recognition. The ancient being's judgment was clear. Humans possessed the qualities needed to survive, to learn, and to face the vast universe. Outside, the violet sky stretched endlessly, stars glittering like distant beacons. The team paused for a moment, looking at the frozen plains of Erebus Prime, reflecting on what they had experienced. Humans had faced the impossible and endured. They had confronted intelligence older than time itself and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. Alina spoke softly, more to herself than anyone else. Humans will always push forward. We adapt, we endure, we rise above. And no matter what the universe holds, we will survive, because that is who we are. The team boarded their shuttle, the structure's energy pulsing gently behind them, as if giving its final acknowledgement. Erebus Prime receded beneath them, but the lessons they had learned would travel with humanity across the stars. Knowledge, wisdom, courage, and compassion, the essence of human spirit, had been proven in the face of the unknown. And as the shuttle lifted off, heading toward the unknown reaches of space, Commander Alina Reyes looked ahead with determination. Humanity had been tested, judged, and recognized. The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders, dangers, and mysteries, but humans would face it all, not with fear but with courage, intelligence, and the unyielding spirit that defined them. Because humanity was not just a species that survived. Humanity was a species that thrived, that adapted, that learned, and that rose above every challenge. And the Silent Ones had seen it.